you know what's really crazy? Like, this must be like the third or fourth time now, or this is the first time that's been done like that. It's like the third or fourth time, maybe even fifth time, that someone's randomly just taken my picture or asked me to take my picture because he said, oh, I like your color coordination. It's like, cool. Maybe I should start charging. Huh? I still didn't. I was like, no, £20 a picture. But yeah, but he didn't, he took the picture then asked. So it's like, if I didn't want that picture to be taken, he's already taken it. That is kind of rude, but it is what it is, you know? So, as long as that person knows you do anything corrupt with that photograph, I'll sue your ass first of all, and your ass is going to jail, point blank period. You know? Because the amount of times people have tried to set me up, frame me for shit I didn't do, you understand? It's madness. This is how you know there's nothing but pure corruption in this world. Even the people that's supposed to, even people in position of authority that you're supposed to associating to be able to trust, you can't trust them. Do you know what I mean? They're the biggest liars going. Yeah, they are. You know? The amount of injustices I've had to go through, done things the right way, and it's like, once I filed that report, it's like they just, I don't know, dashed it in the bin or they didn't even file it. They just put it in the door somewhere, you know? Multiple times. So when people say, oh, there's no corruption in the police force, yes there is. Yes there is. But there was a time, like this is over 10 years ago now. That sounds like a long time, isn't it? Over 10 years ago. Yeah, when I was a different person back then. I used to get into trouble. I was always in and out of court, on probation, you know. I was heavily on drugs. I was an alcoholic. And yeah, I was on probation. I was actually probably getting arrested every weekend. I know. When I look back now, it's like, wow. I never actually thought I would be here on this day speaking like this, if that makes any sense. Yeah, because back then, I couldn't see past that day, you know? Literally. Like, you know, some people would plan ahead or stuff like that. I never had that ability to do that because of the life I was living, you know? And the funny thing is, looking at it from a outside perspective now instead of actually being in the mix of it, listen, I'm telling you, I would have Netflix on lock with what I've had to go through in the last 10 years. You know what I mean? Actually not 10, I think it's 12. 13 actually, it's 13. January next year will be 13 years. And yeah, I usually have a Netflix special. Do you know what I mean? But I feel more at peace being vindicated first of all. Let's start with that one. Being vindicated and also knowing that it wasn't even my fault. Does that make any sense? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I used to blame myself for a lot of things and beat myself up for a lot of things. And that in itself just exacerbated the problem, you know? It's literally like you're sinking, but you know you can swim. You get halfway and then you just get dragged back down again. Do you know what I mean? Or you're literally just at the bottom looking up at the top, but you can't reach the top. Do you know what I mean? And before you know it, 10 years have passed, you know? But the most thing I could say is I take all, considering it was majority negative and very brutal, abusive, violent, all everything. I'm not bitter about it, or I don't hold resentment. Like, Most people would, or they'd expect you to. And I definitely don't use that as an excuse, like some people that have not been through anything like what I've been through. And I use the smallest of things as an excuse to then go around and project that on innocent people. You know, that is a big no-no. And because that in itself, all that does, you might get, what, 5 minutes satisfaction, but you've got to think to yourself, for that 5 minutes of a fabricated satisfaction in your own head that you believe you're receiving, you're probably going to get, I don't know, 5 years of bad karma. That's how you've got to look at things. And I know this because I'm seeing it myself. And also, when I was on the other side of things, always getting into trouble, committing crime, getting locked up, I owned it, unlike some people. Yeah, and for things that I did that wasn't good, as well as being prosecuted, being on probation, paying fines, whatever the case may be. I've never been to jail, but I've had bad karma for it. And it wasn't nice, you know. On top of that, I've also had, or it's also it's been apparent to me that a lot of it was orchestrated by my controlling, evil, narcissistic family. Yeah. And even though they know they're caught red-handed, they're still trying. What they didn't realize is, I've already surrendered it to God already, you know? I surrender it to God and my angels, and I let them dish out justice for me. That makes any sense. Yeah. That way I've released that burden. That's what you need to do. If you're in conflict with anybody for any which reason, from you know in your heart you're innocent of whatever they're trying to put on you, don't even worry about it, you know? Sit with yourself, sit in solitude. You need to sit in solitude. Meditate on it, speak to God. And before you ask, just be very clear. Don't be like me and expect to get answers straight away. It doesn't work like that, you know? It's called divine timing, which I'm getting to understand a lot better than what I did before. Yeah. So you kind of like get put in like a queuing system, and depending on your level of karma will validate how long you have to wait, or whenever your prayer will be answered, basically, you know. Because like I said, when I was a different person, I used to get into trouble. Obviously I had a backlog of karma, as well as the ancestral curses placed upon my bloodline, which by the grace of God I was able to break. So I'm the first person in my family to break our generational ancestral curse. And that in itself is a blessing. You know, last year I didn't know any of these things existed. If you would have said this to me last year, I would have looked at you like you was cuckoo. I would have. I'd have been like, what have you been taking? Whatever it is, you need to stop. Do you know what I mean? But because I've actually experienced it and been through it myself, yeah, I can say 100%. That's facts. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. Even the fact to be clean and sober, that feeling in itself is weird, because I didn't think I'd even get to this. I didn't think I'd even get this far. If that makes any sense, you know? Yeah. But I'm glad I persevered. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. So to those people that think that they can steal your shine, or steal your blessings, or steal your destiny, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You know? So they think if they use black magic, witchcraft, do a whole load of madness, they're going to gain their fortunes. No. You know? You might get in some monetization for what, 5 minutes? Do you understand? But you're going to end up cursing your whole bloodline for God knows how many decades or God knows how many years. And the thing about it is a lot of people they don't think that far ahead, which is why they end up messing themselves up, you know? But I was always mindful, you know? No matter how bad things got, I was always mindful and I always kept the faith. You know, even when I wasn't sure if I was even going to get answered, you know, I just kept going. Do you know what I mean? Because I knew, well, I just had a feeling, a gut feeling that one day it will happen, you know? But had I not been weighed down with curses and a lot of spell work and black magic and binding spells, like a lot of people, even family members, binded themselves to me. And I'll get a bit more into that a little bit later. But yeah, do you know what I mean? How you break those curses, how you break those bind spells. Do you know what I mean? It's not easy, but it's possible. That's what you need to remember. It ain't easy, but it's possible. You know? And you've got to believe in it yourself. You've got to believe and have belief yourself in order for it to have an effect also. That's key. You know? Which is another trick of the devil. He wants you to not have faith. He wants you not to believe. You know? And he will do anything within this, anything he can to get you down that low within yourself that you give up hope. Never do it. Take it from me. Never do that. But once you do that, you just open yourself up to anything being able to attach itself to you and attack you, you know? People can walk past you in the street and brush past you or bump you and attach an entity to you. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. People coughing, sneezing, that type of shit. Yes. But for some odd reason, before I actually knew I had all these things going on, for some reason, if I was anywhere where that happened, it's like I would automatically want to protect myself. It's like I didn't have the knowledge then of what I got now, but for some reason, my instincts kicked in, and that protected me. That makes any sense, you know. And then years later, my brain caught up. Aye, that's the best way I can describe it. Years later, my brain caught up. But yeah, even spells where it's like they try and like dumb you down, numb you down, you know, play around with your mind. You got to break all those spells. This is spell work. And I've seen a lot of people that I grew up with, some older than me, some younger than me, that I know for a fact that's what was done to them. I know for a fact, you know? Especially when you can see, whilst you was younger, like there was going to be something when they got older. You can see the potential in them when they was kids. You know, we all had it. It was done to me too, you know? The only difference is I escaped it and broke free from it by the grace of God. Like God said, not my chosen ones.